What's up, Zoners? Week 3 of Thursday Night Football is upon us. The amazing, electric New York Football Giants are going to go all the way across the United States to the San Francisco 49ers just to get their ass kicked. And hey, I'm going to cover the 49ers start sit today, each position, including kicker and defense, so you know who to start during this ass kicking. Hey, if that sounds good to you, hold on for 7 seconds. What's up, Zoners? This is Tyler, Big Turd Ward, and Banjo, the dog, coming at you live from my living room. And this is the Fantasy Red Zone. Today's episode, you heard it in the intro, we're going to be doing our play or pause for the San Francisco 49ers. Every single position. I have all of this typed out, so I might as well share it with you guys. Here it is. All right, here we go. Let's set the scene. The over and under for this game is at 44. That is actually average for the week, so it's nothing to run from, nothing to target. The 49ers are favored by 10 points. And is that surprising to me? Yes. I thought they'd be favored by 50? The weather is going to be nice in the Bay, 74 degrees, clear with zero chance of precipitation. First off, here we go. Brock Purdy. I am pressing play on Brock Purdy. He threw for his normal 200 yards last week, but no passing touchdowns. And that was versus the Rams, man. He did run one in, so he did get a touchdown. The Rams defense is legit, okay? And plus, on top of that, Brandon Aiyuk got injured in the first quarter and was not the same after that. He's even a game-time decision for this game. The Rams D held Geno Smith to 112 passing yards and 1 touchdown in game 1. He went on to the Lions and got over 300 yards. He looked really good in game 2 versus the Lions. The Rams defense, like I said, is better than we thought. Do not hold that against Brock Purdy this time. The Giants have allowed 1 passing touchdown this season. That is tied for number 1 in the league. That's because nobody's had to throw. And that correlates to their next stat. The Giants allowing the 9th fewest passing yards per game this season. People do not need to pass a lot versus the Giants. They are up all game, so they run the ball. Speaking of which, the Giants are allowing 1.5 rushing touchdowns per game. That is 5th worst in the league. And that ties into the Giants allowing the 9th most rushing yards per game this season. So the game plan will be run heavy per usual. And the Giants are allowing kind of what I expect from Brock Purdy. 15.8 fantasy points per game. That is, not terrible. Last year, I was begging for 15.8 points per game. He usually throws for 200 yards and 2 touchdowns per game. Go look at his stats last year. If you want a safe floor, 200 yards and 2 touchdowns, just pick up Brock Purdy. You'll get 15 points per game. Now, his ceiling is not there, and maybe he will have some of these, nuclear games. But until we see that, I'm not going to build that in. His ceiling is still low. His floor is high, and that is what you're getting here. I am predicting that he will get 225 yards and 2 touchdowns. Christian McCaffrey, I am pausing. Rewind. Christian McCaffrey, I am pressing play on Christian McCaffrey. Giants allowing 20.6 fantasy points per game to running backs this year. That's 10th most in the league. That was Tony Pollard, which I expect that from, and James Conner, who I really didn't expect that from this year. Last year, while on the Panthers, he ran for 102 yards on 15 carries. That was 6.8 yards per carry against the Giants. The Giants' defense was bad last year. They're bad this year. He also caught the ball a couple times in that game. McCaffrey sees an 8-man box 38% of the time. That is the 4th highest rate in the NFL. And he still has 98 rushing yards over expected. Dude, that is the best in the league by 22 yards. So he is seeing almost the most stacked boxes, and he's still Swiss cheesing that shit, man. He's running through the holes, making people look stupid, and he is, dude, I don't even know. He's not a rookie. He is not Bijan Robinson. He's been doing this for years, and he's going to continue to do this. Also, dude, talk about data points. He leads the league in rushing attempts while being 2nd in yards per game at 6.4, dude. So again, Connor had 100 yards and a rushing touchdown last week versus the Giants. And then week 1, Tony Pollard had 70 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. And it would have been much worse than that, or better, I guess, for Pollard. But dude, the Dallas defense scored 4 touchdowns. Stupid. I do see this game getting out of hand, so I'm kind of a little afraid for CMC, but I do see him getting 80 yards rushing, plus a rushing and receiving touchdown. One of my fantasy darlings, Elijah Mitchell. He only had 5 attempts for 10 yards week 1. Week 2, he was active. He did not see the field, so 0 snaps. Deebo had 5 carries and 38 yards and a touchdown last week. He's like the running back 2. Maybe they're going to start using Deebo like this. They have it in his contract, so it's kind of shitty, dude. It is kind of shitty where you drafted Elijah Mitchell and what you were hoping for him. If I was you, though, I would hold and wait to see what happens after this game, dude. If Elijah Mitchell does not kind of blow up this game, I would be okay with you dropping him. Next up, Hide your chains, man. Deebo Samuel. I'm pressing play on Deebo. He led the 49ers in targets, receptions, and receiving yards last week. He even had 5 rushes for 38 yards and a touchdown. Like I said, he had 2 rushes, I think, in the season opener. Yeah, that's what it says. So they are getting him involved in the backfield. When I watched last week, he looked really good running the ball. He looked better running the ball than he did catching the ball. He is not washed, by the way, BTW. 3.5 yards average separation right now. That is 12th in the league for wide receivers. So he can still separate with the best of them. Plus, his biggest skill is he's hard to tackle. So if you have good separation and you're hard to tackle, come on, man. So we are going to be treating him as the number 1 wide receiver this week because Brandon Aiyuk hurt his shoulder, and now he is a game time decision. So even if he plays, he's probably limited. I would imagine Deebo's going to get targeted more often. So the number 1 wide receivers the last couple weeks against the Giants, we're looking at CeeDee Lamb. He had 77 yards. But again, dude, they did not have to throw the ball. It was all Dallas's defense. It was crazy. Hollywood Brown last week had 54 yards and a touchdown on 10 targets. So would we be surprised if Deebo got a lot of targets? Maybe not. I am predicting Deebo Samuel to get 85 yards and 1 touchdown. Next up, Brandon Aiyuk. He is this team's number 1 wide receiver. I would probably try to trade for him right now. I am pressing pause on Brandon Aiyuk. He could come out, get Dr. Needle, man, and just say, fuck it, and go gangbusters. But hey, we're playing the odds here, people. We're playing the odds. So we're not going to be doing that. If you want to feel crazy and do that, go for it. Then tell me what it's like, dude. Write me back. Say, Tyler, you're fucking stupid. Injured his shoulder first quarter last week. Still finished with 6 targets and 43 yards, but still did not look the same. I watched that game. It was just like he was in and out all the time. He is averaging 42% of the team's air yards this season. That is 9th in the NFL, and that is even with that shitty week last week. So, like I said, I will be trying to trade for him if I can. And like I said, he's usually the number 1 wide receiver for San Francisco, but we're going to be treating him as the number 2. Treat him like post-injury last game. I am predicting him to get 4 receptions for 55 yards. Next up, Jennings. This is a different Jennings than I remember in San Francisco. That fool was awesome. Then I think he got traded to the Bears and did okay there. Anyways, I'm pressing pause on Jennings. He had 1 target the first game, and then he got 3 targets last game when Brandon Aiyuk got injured. He did get 51 yards, and that looked good, but do not expect much from him. I would be interested in him if Aiyuk's injury turned into something more serious. All right, guys, the man of the hour, George Kittle. I am pressing a hard play, hard fucking smash. Boom, breaking that shit on him. 6 targets week 1, 3 targets last week. He entered the season with a groin injury. So are we seeing a slow start because of that? I don't know. We have to see. We love how he ended the season last year. I mean, all those touchdowns. Once Purdy got in there, dude, it was nuclear for Kittle. The Giants are allowing 49.5 yards per game to tight ends. That is average in the league. But we are going to look at the targets because we love targets here, people. We follow targets on wide receivers. We follow volume on running backs. So here we go, dude. Ferguson for the Cowboys. He led the team with 7 targets that first week when they dominated. We can see a dominating factor here with similar defense to the Cowboys, dude. I don't know how the Giants are going to do this, man. It's going to be ridiculous. Like, it was like 40-0, I think, week 1, Cowboys versus Giants. I do expect a closer game than that, but dude, it is scary. But we can see, even in that blowout, Ferguson was targeted. He would have had like multiple touchdowns. I remember him dropping one in the end zone, dude. He had so many drops that game. So this tight end stat for the Giants could be a lot better. And then also last week, Zach Ertz. Remember Zach Ertz? He had 8 targets and 56 yards. So we are seeing teams going against the Giants heavily targeting their tight ends. It is not, converting to a lot of fantasy points just because the Giants aren't forcing the issue because they can't do shit. But still, dude, I am going to predict Kittle going nuclear this week. Banjo even agrees with me. 110 yards and a touchdown. Fucking smash. Next up, San Francisco defense. All I wrote down was, dear God. Effing A. If you're not starting the San Francisco defense, man, you're going to lose. You're going to lose your week. Now, you probably won't. But, hey, if you start him, if you do start them, you'll probably win your week. So, yeah, let's press play on that. Next up, we're talking about the kicker. We're talking about the Moody man. I'm pressing play on Moody. This is the average over and under, so I'm not running away from it, and I'm not targeting it. San Francisco will dominate the time of possession. So what do I want? I want high over and unders. I want to dominate the time of possession for field goal kickers. This is a recipe for success. I see Moody killing shit this week. All right, zoners, that is the show. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully I earned a thumbs up. Hopefully I earned a subscription if you're not already subscribed. Please, we need it. We need it. This is Tyler, Big Turd Ward, and I appreciate you.